Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome you to the other side of midnight. Already in the chat, we have friend of the channel, Tim Hayes. Jesse Guajardo. And we also already have a couple of guests backstage. So without further ado, I'm going to bring them on. Last call, Troy Pacelli.
How's it going? Want to welcome everyone to the channel as Deleted Scenes is dropping that smooth jazz to help us end our weekend. Happy Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on what time zone you're in. This is really a good way to wind down and relax and get ready for the week.
Indeed. And I already have another guest backstage. The Jedi Gunslinger himself. The one and only infamous Jedi Bear.
Well. Hello there, everyone. How are you doing?
Welcome, Sir Bill.
Hey, Troy. How's it
How you
going,
doing?
man? All right. I'm doing all right.
You're helping to keep Deleted Scenes busy, I see. You got him doing the Westerns on Sunday, and he's got two other shows on Sunday. I mean, Sunday's like your streaming day, isn't it? Deleted Scenes.
It is. It really has. And
I'm not casting any aspersions there,
No.
Bill, because I got him tied up on Tuesdays with Twin Peaks, and my goodness.
Yeah.
He's one of the busiest guys in all of YouTube land. He's getting real close to a milestone, too. So everybody make sure you share out this stream and tell everybody that Deleted Scenes is the guy to follow.
Yes, right now I am 41 subs away from 300. So I'm hoping to hit that milestone really soon here.
There you go. Well, congratulations. You're earning every single one of them.
Well, I do my best. Like I said, I just, I'm being myself, and I try to be as honest as possible. Even if I'm, talking about unpopular subjects, as I did early tonight, and which is why with Unscripted, I wanted to keep that really brief tonight, and I didn't do like the fun segments because I didn't want to talk about the subject matter that I was talking about and then just go, hey, look, I have a copy of Follow My Bird,
Yeah.
And I didn't really want to, it just didn't seem right. So that's why I kind of cut everything off.
I think
really
you're
early as I did.
I think you're providing a service here. I think the past couple years, people have gotten more and more detached. And so what you're doing is you are connecting people, allowing people to communicate with each other. Yeah, maybe disagree, maybe debate a little bit, get some things off their chest, let out some steam, maybe find some middle ground. That's the way it always used to be before the world went crazy,
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that about you.
Indeed, I appreciate that compliment, because and you don't always know um, who's watching at any given time, and my main thing is I'm not like out to get anybody, but if I see something that I think is out of line, then I got to call people on it on occasion. It's just how I am, and and I know that in doing so, I am going to be, bringing up, certain subjects that people don't always want to hear about. I could, I'm just as happy and would actually prefer just doing a show like this where I can hang out with friends. But on occasion, stuff comes up in the news, um, or in this case, not necessarily coming up in the news because there's a censorship issue going on, and I figured that I gotta let people know because you know they don't have to, because I don't know, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, but you know I'm just trying to make people aware of something that is being, information that is being suppressed,
Yeah.
and if my broadcast tonight gets taken down for whatever reason, then it gets taken down. But it's just like I can't just let this go because the mainstream media is not doing their job. There is censorship going on social media platforms. I talked about stuff tonight that other people got their channels yeeted over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great. I mean, you let know what the media does not say.
You know,
Uh,
yeah, and I was also worried that because I was basically talking about, and I'll refer to it once again as exactly what I think it was, an act of terrorism. And an act of terrorism that was committed by a transgender individual, which is
Mm-hmm.
why I prefaced my show tonight by saying I am not lumping every transgender into what this one individual person chose to do, because I am not blaming an entire group of people. I am blaming this one person who felt the need to go out and commit this, heinous act. And I do want to say hello to a few people who've joined us in the chat. We have the Dork Knight. Good to see you.
Sup, Dark Knight?
Tim is saying, "Am I going to be all right?" Yeah. I mean, personally, I'm fine, but I discussed some matters earlier that, like I said, got channels yeeted. And people thrown off of other platforms. So I was that I tried to word everything tonight in a way that let everybody know that I'm talking about specific people, not an entire group of people. I'm not going to blame an entire group for what one person does, you know. But you also have, people who have their own agendas, and the message, as
Yeah.
Pickle Drinker likes to say, you know, and if you pull that in a situation like this, I'm going to call you out on it. And it's just how I am, I just, if I see something that's an injustice, I can't let that go. Tim says, just don't eat any bananas on camera, otherwise AI will think it's sexual content or nudity. That was the stupidest thing. That's one of the stupidest things that I've seen here on YouTube, is when Common Nerd got his channel yeeted over this outro video that he's been using for months. Yeah, I gotta think that was some kind of bot that got involved in that, or somebody who thought they had a beef with him or something. But he's over on Rumble now, and now I wish him well. I thought, I'm waiting to see what the reaction to Unscripted is going to be. That's one that might end up going on to Rumble. I don't know, but so far, no one's had any issues with what I had to say. So, I think I'm going to be all right. I keep telling him to keep appealing. Yeah, and we gotta let YouTube know that we're unhappy. They gotta let him back on. Give him his channel back. What if it's a banana split? I don't know. Where are we on banana splits? Rumble seems a bit trickier to use. Yeah, I don't get the ins and outs of it myself, but it's something I definitely want to look into, because maybe I'll start doing live shows there too.
Sure.
It's definitely it's Rumble is something that I think every YouTuber should consider looking into.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, guys, I don't want to take over the conversation. You're both here. What's on your mind?
You first, Bill. I was already kind of jabbering away really well.
I'm not thinking about much stuff right now. I live in a day-to-day world, I don't concern myself with unnecessary things,
Yeah, you're just kind of living life out there, and
Yeah.
which is where I don't know, your situation, or what you have in terms of like neighbors or anything, or if you're like close to anybody, or if it's
No, I like
a
that's what I
suburban
like where
community.
I'm at now. I'm like not really close. There are neighbors nearby, but they're like not like super close. Like you can't hear the wall. You can't hear in between walls and nothing. Yeah, most I can hear is like if they're playing loud music outside their home. So yeah, it's a very rural area where I'm at, and I need to get a good drone so I can get some cool drone footage of the things going on. I did happen to watch the new trailer for the Ghostbusters coming up, and it looks like they're gonna try to release in late March, and that looks fairly exciting. Other than that, I'm not excited or thrilled about anything that's coming out, nor do I know what's coming out for the rest of this year. Well, I guess if they still go with the release for the Wonka, I don't know what is it called, Wonka, whatever.
Yeah, to my knowledge, Wonka's still coming out.
I know about it, but I'm not thrilled or excited. I'm just like, okay, I can take it or leave it.
I'll give it a chance, but it strikes me as one of those movies that gets made to get a costume design Oscar nomination. You know,
Yeah,
like
that may
like
be, or musical numbers.
yeah, like
His
Cruella or
score.
something. You know,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, when I first saw the trailer, I thought it was like cautiously optimistic about it, but I haven't really heard anything about it either way, you know. So it's like there's not a lot of buzz around it or anything.
Tim says was talking about Turner Classic Movies.
It says
Is
if you
that
have Turner,
is that on? Do they have that on Prime? I'm
no,
sure they probably have that on Prime.
that's a cable network, and they show
Yeah.
older films. Yeah, and Me TV does have lots of older retro stuff to watch. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, I'm not since I don't have satellite television anymore. I don't have access to either one of those. To
Yeah,
my knowledge, I'd have to look
I'm
it up.
strictly I'm a cord cutter. I've cut the cord. What was it about? It's been probably 7 years now that I've been just streaming. I just use the internet service to provide me with all my entertainment.
Yeah, you know, I just got to the point to where I got bored with a lot of what was on television. You know, and at that point, I was watching YouTube more than anything else. So, you know, cutting the cord, as they say, it's made it easy. Just Me TV, you need either a digital cable or you have to stream digital cable on the Roku connected TV. Yeah, well, I'm not connected to Roku, so. Those cable bills were getting expensive. Yeah, that too. That was another reason. I couldn't justify the expense anymore.
And that's why the streaming wars are heating up. They're vying for those dollars now.
Mhm.
And people are starting to say, "You're not offering enough for me to buy into that."
Have either of you watched the new DiCaprio film, The Killers of the Flower Moon?
No, I've heard a bit about it though.
Hmm. No,
Well,
not yet. I get the feeling I'm probably going to need a couple of nights
yeah, I'm just looking here. It's got a 3 hour, 27 minute runtime.
yeah,
But Scorsese directed that one, didn't he? Yeah,
yeah,
he did. That's him and DiCaprio. They're a, when they make a film, they make usually a good film. Oh, I'm kind of curious about
yeah.
that one.
Well, I figured, and I did a whole show about this a few weeks back. You know, and my guess at that time was that they were probably going to go with it for Best Picture. Now I know it's going to get nominated, but I've been kind of, you know, ever since I first heard about the movie, I said this is going to be the shoe-in for the win. Now I'm not so sure though, because of some of because the reviews have been fairly mixed, really, to be honest. You know, and one of the problems that a lot of people have had is the runtime. You know, because you have like the 3 hour 27 minutes of the movie, and then you got 20 to 25 minutes of trailers before that. You know, who wants to go see 4 hours? They're asking in the chat which movie. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
The Scorsese film. It's in theaters now, and it's going to be on Apple TV before the end of the year as well. So, but there are other places you can go, which again, we do not condone.
Mm-hmm.
Do not condone. Argy mateys. Let me see.
Looks like we got opening up this week as a horror film called Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's the Eli Roth movie. That's the
Eli Roth did that one, huh?
Yeah, that was when they did Grindhouse. Tarantino and Rodriguez, the double feature they did, and they had the phony trailers. And Thanksgiving was Eli Roth's trailer.
Oh, okay.
So that's where this came from. Yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be at least a fun one to go see. Jesse says, "LOL, glad Cartoon Network isn't Cartoon Network anymore, especially given the fact that all they showed was nothing but Teen Titans Go." Yeah, I guess Cartoon Network is no more. I don't know the whole story on this, but
well, all of these channels kind of went the way of having nothing to do with what they were called. Like the History Channel now has become all about ancient aliens, for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Tim says, "Don't have Apple TV and not too happy with them since I think they overcharged our customers." I have the converter box thing. So I mean, if I wanted to hook myself up to Apple TV, I could, because I have the equipment to do it with. I just haven't. They don't have enough. They don't have enough on there right now that to me would justify paying for it.
yeah.
But
Some
again, go ahead.
retro films returning to on selected screens this week. The Wedding Singer and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Return of the Jedi on the 17th.
Well, I'm glad to hear about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I do an annual rewatch of that every Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
Although Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, now that Netter's doing her Thursday things, I'll leave Thursday for her, and I'll probably do it. I've actually already got the stream up for that Friday, so it'll be the day after Thanksgiving.
Jesse says Cartoon Network is now relabeled as Adult Swim, and they have more options to watch, especially all the cartoons I'd watched growing up. Cool. Cartoon Network shows more original programming like Courage the Cowardly Dog during the day and Adult Swim stuff at night. Yeah.
I
Apple
do like.
T-
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go with the comments.
Okay. This is Apple TV is just like a Roku streaming box, but they overcharge you for it. I think it's, well, when I had it, I think it was like $4.95 a month or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone up since then.
It probably has. Everything has. It keeps climbing up in price.
What I was going to say is on that Eli Roth film, the Thanksgiving horror movie. I know it seems strange, but I kind of dig the idea of there being a horror film related to different holidays, right? We've had plenty of Christmas ones, right? You know, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Black Christmas, you know, all of those. Not to mention the in between ones, right? They're the Halloween Christmas ones, like Nightmare Before Christmas, stuff like that.
Well, last year we got a Christmas one called Violent Night.
Violent Night, yeah, Krampus, you know,
Krampus,
and
yeah.
I think it's about time
But
Thanksgiving got
there's
its
a
due.
new one. There's an action film called Silent Night opening
Yeah.
on the 1st of December.
Interesting.
And even Snowdub was promoting it tonight on Culture Casino's stream. So
Yeah, that's
yeah, I might have to go have a look at that one.
yeah, that one actually it looks pretty good. Joel Kinnaman stars in it. John Woo's directing. I hopefully it'll be a fun one. And they have a Halloween. It's because I saw it before Halloween. They had the kind of a Christmas themed horror movie called "It's a Wonderful Knife." That's out right now. It's a kind of a horror movie play on "It's a Wonderful Life."
Mm-hmm.
It's not very good, you know. But I like the leads, but you know, it's just it's a movie that nobody is going to care about past present year. Let's just put it that way.
Hmm.
And it's you know, it's like because when I did my review, I said wait for streaming because this is a Shudder film.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, just wait until it comes on Shudder. But I'm starting to wonder, the more I think about it, would I tell anybody to watch it on Shudder? And I'm like, no, watch everything else first. You know, it's kind of where I am on it. But yeah, because you know I'm kind of formulating in my head, doing my, you know, end of the year list. You know, 10 best and 10 worst, and so I'm kind of formulating that in my head. What am I going to leave in? What am I going to leave out? You know. Tim says Apple TV won't censor stuff. You add it like a Roku box will, but they keep charging their customers a monthly fee, whereas Roku will only charge you for the stuff you buy to watch on it.
Yeah. And that's the best part about it. You just pay for the device and then you add your subscriptions later.
Jesse says, I don't care what anyone says, but Die Hard is the best Christmas movie ever.
Look,
It's not Christmas until Hans
Now
Gruber
I have
falls
a
from the
machine
Nakatomi
gun.
Tower.
Ho,
You
ho,
know?
ho.
Yeah. So
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
yeah.
so I agree. Yeah, it's definitely I admit it, I watch Die Hard every Christmas. I do.
Yeah. For me, Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. Now, some people don't consider Lethal Weapon a Christmas movie, but I do because it opens up with a Christmas song, and then he's trying to make Mel Gibson is making a deal in a Christmas tree lot. So I mean that's Christmas for me.
Yeah.
It's an action Christmas movie.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you can watch Die Hard, or you can watch Christmas movies all day on Hallmark if you want to, you know.
Yeah, Die Hard too. You gotta watch them. You gotta watch them both.
Yeah, Die Hard 2 takes place during Christmas as well, so yeah. So certainly, I thought. So Troy, Christmas movies. What do you normally watch on Christmas?
Well, obviously, Christmas Story, right? It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
White Christmas is definitely one of my favorites. One that I have not seen in years, and I have to get a DVD of it, The Gumdrop Kid. That's Bob Hope.
Mhm.
That's where Silver Bells comes from. And I think another one that's great just about for every holiday is Meet Me in St. Louis, right? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. You know,
Emmett Otter's Junk Band
Jug Band
Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh,
Oh my
nice.
gosh, I love that one.
I have it on DVD.
I
I
do
watch
too.
it every year.
I have it on DVD too. I have so many DVDs though. I can't watch all the Christmas ones every year. Of course, you know you got to get the Charlie Brown Christmas in there. I'm glad I've got all those Charlie Brown
Yeah.
specials on DVD because now they've hidden them behind paywalls. They don't play every year on CBS like they used to.
No, the networks get. I don't know. Well, the audiences change. I don't know. You know, even for the young audiences.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, those cartoons went back to even before I was born. So it was because my mom was playing them, you know, and saying, you know, hey, sit down, watch. You're gonna like this, you know, that that I picked it up, you know, and you know, if I'd been blessed with kids myself, I'm sure they would have been as fired up about it as I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say hello in the chat to Connie Cleary and JPRPH1.
Hello there.
Tim says CBS lost the rights due to low ratings. ABC had the rights, but let the rights lapse. JPRPH1 suggests meet John Doe.
You know which one I saw last December? Wasn't half bad. It was an early 2000 film, I think it was, and Paul Feig directed. It was Unaccompanied Minors. It's actually not terrible. It's not great either, but it's okay. It's entertaining if you know.
Oh, where the kids get stuck at the airport or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
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 Connie says the Christmas Story House is a couple of cities over from where I live at. Cool.
Yeah, you live in Ohio? I didn't know that.
Does anybody ever watch the Santa Claus with Dudley Moore anymore?
Yes. I mean,
Or
I
like-
haven't seen
Or like
it in ages,
Prancer, or like Prancer. You know those
Prancer,
films
yeah.
that we watched when we were kids, that came out when we were kids.
What about Jack Frost with Michael Keaton?
Oh yeah, hell yeah! That was 1999, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
98 or 90. I think no, it was 98. Yeah, I love that one. It's got because the kids. I love the kid in the film plays. You know, they're in Colorado out of there, so he's an Avalanche fan and a Bronco fan. It's like, yes, because that's where I grew up. My childhood was in just outside of Denver, so yeah, I've been a hardcore Colorado fan for most of my life, all my life.
So who owns the rights for Peanut specials? And Tim says I think Warner Brothers does. At least they do for the DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K releases. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. But I mean, you never know anymore with Warner's. I would never. I'm not seating them in the same section as Disney. I don't think they're that far gone. I think Warner Brothers is savable, but Man, they need to do something fast about the DCU.
Yeah, again, I really don't think they. Nothing that I've seen tells me that they are planning this out in any way. They bollocksed it up so badly under what's his name, Snyder,
Mm-hmm.
that and look, I understand there's plenty of people out there that are huge fans that loved it, thought it was great. I don't know any serious comic book fans that did, but whatever. But now you have this very half-hearted kind of loosey-goosey reboot where some of it's canon and some of it's not, and everything's being almost everyone's being recast unless you're a good friend of Guns. It's kind of a mess, and it doesn't seem like there's any logical plan. When your first film is Creature Commandos, that's how you're launching a universe. Good luck to you. You know, and the Suicide Squad too.
Yeah.
Starring John China.
I tell you what, as Peacemaker, I think he's actually pretty good. And I don't think he's that great an actor, but as Peacemaker, I think he's decent.
Yeah, I won't watch anything he does anymore. Just like I would never watch another Jane Fonda film. I don't
I don't
care
know.
how good they are.
I wouldn't go quite that far with him. Jane Fonda, I completely understand, but because to me, what she did was far more.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if we're going
egregious, you know.
degrees, yes, but you know, he's still a traitor to his country, in my opinion. No, I don't think
Yeah,
he's
okay.
responsible for any lives lost in combat or anything like that. But yeah, ideologically, he's still a traitor, and yeah, I don't see any reason to support him. And to be honest with you, we hear all this talk about all of these movies, about the casting, the fan casting and who they want to cast and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Just do what Hollywood has always done. Have a cattle call, do auditions, cast the best actor. Sometimes you'll find the new hotness is someone no one's ever heard before. And you can get them for a song and a dance, sign them up for a long-term contract. Doesn't have to be someone who's already established and going for tens of millions.
No, certainly not. Connie says, sorry if I'm not hopping on, getting ready for bed, busy day, be in listening mode. That's perfectly fine. I get it. It's been a long weekend, long day for everybody. So no worries there. Absolutely. Let me scroll back up through the chat because I know we had a few conversations going on. Jesse says, I wonder if it's because the voice actor for Charlie Brown has a criminal history.
That role's been cast so many times, though it doesn't really matter.
There have been a few people, and Tim has also mentioned that in the chat that there have been a number of people through the years who have voiced Charlie Brown, so including the kid from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
Noah Snout, because he did the film a few years back.
Did you know that the voice of what's her name, Sally, his sister, was done by Fergie of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, at least for a while.
Huh.
Red Hot
Yep.
Chili.
No, Black Eyed Peas. Yeah.
Black
Black-eyed peas. Yeah, I knew it was. I knew it
Red Hot
was some
Chili
vegetable.
Peppers.
I knew it was some vegetable. Whatever.
It's okay, Troy. We'll hold it against you.
I'm a boomer. What do you want? Not really, but effectively.
Tim says Fox had the rights to one obscure Charlie Brown special. I'm trying to remember which one that was.
Oh, was that the one about Snoopy's brother or whatever? It was mixed with live action. Something about a red truck.
I don't know.
I never heard about that.
I'm not ringing any bells.
I mean, the Peanuts movie from, what was it? Like 2015? I think that was 20th Century
Something
Fox.
like that, yeah. Let me scroll down here.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of that weird fever dream. It's the girl in the red truck, Charlie Brown. That was from 1988. That was strange. Very, very odd.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's probably best that you don't.
Have you guys seen the Muppets Christmas Carol? That's one movie I've actually never watched.
I've heard. I saw it. I know I did. I don't remember it very well because I haven't seen it since it first came out. But a lot of people have said that it's probably one of the best. What's his name? Michael
Caine.
Michael Caine.
I know Tom Connors of Midnight Sedge After Dark really likes it.
Yeah, a lot of people have said
I never give it a chance because I'm sorry, because I don't know. I just was a Christmas Carol. I was like you know, I didn't appreciate the story of the Christmas Carol or like it all that much.
Sure.
Anyway.
A lot of people I've heard say that Michael Caine it was probably one of the best Scrooges because of that performance. And Caine himself has said that he took the role so seriously because
I do like him as an actor. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupt you, Troy. I'm sorry.
That because there's so much craziness going on around him with the Muppets, he felt he had to be as straight and give it as much verisimilitude as he could. And that's really what ends up making it work. So I am going to have to revisit it. I know I have it on DVD.
That sounds like a Friday night watch.
Could be.
Indeed. Dropping stuff over here. Okay, let's. I have a few comments starred here. Let's go back to the chat here real quick. And we got kind of a debate going on between Tim and Jesse right now over this Charlie Brown actor. It's not sure if that's true since there was more than one actor who voiced Charlie Brown. And Jesse says he's referring to the original voice actor.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think who really even knows who these voice actors are, you know?
Yeah, you hear things like this.
Not to mention they were kids when they played these roles.
True.
You know? And
yeah.
then who knows what happened to them after that.
And you know how Hollywood is when it comes to child actors. They always wind up Well, okay, not all of them, but enough of them usually wind up being pretty screwed up.
Well, last I heard he died. Well, I hope that's the last you heard. What's the next thing you would hear? He came back as a rotting corpse?
He's back. This is, I think Apple TV also has the rights to the Peanuts. I think they do.
I think that's
now.
where they've been.
Yeah.
I think that's where they've been,
Yeah.
and that's why when Netter for a couple of years been doing the watch parties, we've been doing the Cosme thing, because how else are you going to watch them?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't subscribe to all these different streaming services. It's ridiculous. And a lot of people have commented on this saying, these shows are lacking one of the very important features that made them such big hits, and that was that water cooler talk. When everybody could see, for example, Twin Peaks, right? It aired on television. Everyone had the opportunity to see it. Everyone who was seeing it, watched it the night before, and then we're talking about it at work the next day. And if you didn't see it, you weren't in on the conversation. So you would make sure you watched it the following week. That's where this whole concept of must-see TV came from, But now it's like, oh, sorry, I don't have Apple TV. I don't watch that show. And now you have no one to talk to because, you're the only one that's actually watching that show.
Mm-hmm. Jesse says he came back as a zombie and danced a Thriller.
Because this is Thriller. Yeah, exactly. I used to be able to do that whole zombie line dance. I knew it by heart. And now it's an emote you can get in Star Trek Online.
Really? Disney. Tim says Disney can be saved if Nelson Peltz can fire Iger. Yeah, I mean, I guess the ball's pretty much in his court at this point, because you have Ike Perlmutter now backing Peltz.
Yeah, that's a big one, and that's like, Perlmutter's revenge,
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, I mean, Nelson Peltz does have a great track record of buying up companies and, kind of restoring them, right? Bringing them back. I mean, I think there's a lot of companies that would have just disappeared if it weren't for him. I'm thinking of like Frito-Lay, PepsiCo. They were hurting real bad. And he came in and just swooped them up.
Right. Jesse says, I'm surprised Disney never bought the Peanuts. So am I, and I'm glad they didn't.
Well, look at, I can tell you exactly what would have happened with them. The exact same thing that's happened with the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
Almost nothing.
Shelved.
Yeah.
Shelved and locked away.
Well, I mean, there was that short period where they tried a series that was very adult, very ill-conceived, and that crashed and burned, and now they're doing nothing with it.
It did, but I got to be honest, at least the first season of it anyway, I liked it.
Well, the problem
I had
is
fun with it.
You are really not their target audience with something like that. Again, I think Disney is missing the boat on who their target audience ought to be, because they're taking all these family-oriented things and making them not family-friendly. Well, great, you've just killed your target audience. Who are you going to get in to watch this? A couple of people that, kind of liked it, who grew up with it and are like, okay, well, now I'm an adult, I don't have kids. Well, great. You're not the one who's going to go out and buy the toys and, spend the money on the t-shirts and the things, And they've done it to all of their properties. They spend billions for these franchises just to destroy them. I mean, they don't only not make their money back, they lose more money. They are more in the hole. Look, Star Wars was bought for however much billion dollars.
4.5 billion.
Yeah. Not only have they not made that back, they've lost even more. Think about all the money they lost on just the what do you call it? The cruise to nowhere. You know, the
Star Cruiser.
Star Cruiser. How empty their Galaxy's Edge is. You know, all the product that they made that isn't selling.
Star Wars toys were once sought for and hunted for. Now they sit. Now the Disney Star Wars stuff and the Marvel stuff just are destined to sit on shelves.
Yeah.
Until they probably will do what they did with the ET and from Atari and bury it in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I see this stuff show up at Ollie's. Actually, there's an online merchant, Tungori, who sells aftermarket action figures, and right now he's got a bunch of he's got the sequel trilogy Trooper, a Rey figure, and one other character from the sequel trilogy, and they're just not selling. You know, usually he'll put something up, and you'll see it there for a day or two, and then sold out. You know, and what's funny is the Rey figure is going for like, I don't know, $26 or something like that. I'm like, well, good luck with that, pal.
Yeah.
You know, I could see buying a few if they were like $5 each, and I could use them as, you know, custom fodder for other figures. But yeah, it's and I think that would be kind of funny to have like a Batu, whatever that planet is she's from, Rey figure, and put her like in the background in the Mos Eisley Cantina playset. I mean, I think that would be funny. She looks like she belongs there, right? Oh, it's just so sad. And you can argue, and people will do this. The stands for this sequel trilogy will come out and say, oh yeah, the sequels made money. Okay, I'm not even going to get into the weeds with you on how much the movies cost, how much the marketing cost, and how much the actual take home was after the theaters got their cuts. But let's say they made a bit of a profit on each of those three movies. They didn't, but let's say they did. They lost so much more on the toys that never sold, the other movies that came out that didn't make a profit, the damn shows. Oh, for sake, how much money they've spent on these Disney Plus shows that don't make any money. I'm sorry, there's no way to make money on those.
Yeah, I don't get it.
There is no income that you make when you throw content onto a streaming service.
Or
You know,
they're paying Kenner to make all this merchandise and the toys, and they just sit on shelves. I mean, I want to see a survey of over the last 6 or 7 years, how many children own the Star Wars toys or the Marvel toys and actually play with them or use them or buy them or care about them.
They're not
I'm sure-
buying. They're certainly not buying the Black Series. They are not buying the 3 3/4 inch figures. What the kids are buying, if they're buying anything, is the Action Fleet. Those are the small ships and figures that look kind of cartoonish, you know. And what I mean by cartoonish is the style of the toy is a cartoon style, not like they're based on, Clone Wars or Rebels or anything like that. And I guess they're doing okay. The kids are buying them, but what they're buying is original series, prequel trilogy, and a little bit of Mandalorian. They're not buying anything else. And you mentioned the toy shelves. You don't find Star Wars toys if you go to the toy shelves. In order to get the Star Wars toys, you pretty much have to buy them directly from Hasbro Pulse.
This is the one toy I bought from any Disney Star Wars. This is the only thing I own of any Disney Star Wars toys, is this thing right here, the Grogu.
Yeah, I think everybody got that.
That is kind of adorable. I did not get that
Yeah.
myself, but yeah. I've actually gotten a lot of, the vintage collection is doing a pretty good job of putting out action figures that we never had growing up. So I've obviously gotten all the ones for, like Jabba's palace and the sail barge and whatnot, and all the figures that would go into the cantina and so forth. And I'm building all my own dioramas because there are no play sets that come out anymore. So, and I'm not going to spend the money to buy an old Ewok village. I'm actually making one from scratch myself, and it's going to be even better, really. I'm building the whole cantina set, like movie accurate. Every bit of it, inside and out. I'm even going to have that big round speeder that sits out in front of it when they walk in. I got it from Stan Solo Toys on Etsy. He makes some really good stuff. But did you get the throne room? Yes, I did. I got the throne room. Although I'm going to be kitting that out. Same thing with the what's that? The bridge to nowhere. The carbon freezing chamber. I got the carbon freezing chamber, but I'm still going to end up building all kinds of stuff around that. And although Netter got me years ago, she got me a second-hand Kenner Death Star playset, and I've got it packed away in the garage right now. I am going to be building one from scratch using an old bookshelf. So it's going to be really tall, really wide, and I'm going to have like near the top. I'm going to have like the conference room and stuff like that. And maybe at the very top, I'll have the throne room. So it's going to kind of serve as both, the Star Wars and Return of the Jedi Death Stars. The garbage chute in the bottom. Yeah, kitting out. KITTING. So in other words, customizing it, building it out, that kind of a thing. That's what I mean. Just, geeky slang. I'm not buying anything from Hasbro or Disney. They're not getting any more of my money. Yeah, most of what I get is secondhand. Like I said, most of my action figures come from Tongori. Most of the people in the community don't even know where Tongori gets this stuff from. It's stuff that you can't find. It was like limited runs, or it's sold out on Hasbro Pulse, and then suddenly a bunch of them will show up on Tongori. And like Bosk's Bounty thinks that maybe they're like factory rejects or something, because he said he's gotten like 2 left feet and stuff like that from time to time. I've never seen that myself, but they are off card, and sometimes they don't have all of the accessories. So for the most part, they're not getting my money. But every now and again, like I just got the Life Day Chewbacca figure, which there's another one that upset me. So when they originally announced that figure, it was supposed to be a Shop Disney exclusive, and it was going to go on sale on November 1st. So I'm watching for it, right? And it doesn't show up. It was like noon, 1 o'clock, and I'm like, usually these things are listed by now. So I went online, I started searching for it, and I'm only finding old articles. And then there was this one collector on Instagram who said, yeah, I just ordered mine, I should have it the next day or two. And other people are starting to comment, and someone's like, yeah, it went on sale on Hasbro Pulse. I thought it was supposed to be on Shop Disney. So I jumped over to Hasbro Pulse, ordered 2 of them, and I kid you not, the next day they were sold out. I was freaking lucky, but that is the way Hasbro goes. Hasbro they are really pissing off their customers because they do this crap. They put it up, these limited amounts, people buy them up, and I kid you not, they are already on sale on eBay by scalpers for 3 and 4 times as much as they paid for them on Hasbro. And they do that with everything. They do it with the HasLabs, all the Pulse exclusives. It's effing ridiculous. So the reality is, the money isn't really going to Hasbro and Disney. The money is going to the scalpers for most of this stuff.
And hello to Emotionally Unstable Amphibian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jesse, for that recommendation. I'll look for that.
Tim says, yeah, I've been customizing the Navarro Cantina with Mos Eisley Cantina, and I bought multiples to make it into a bigger bar.
Das Wolfen. Hey.
Hello, Das Wolfen. All right. Shad's kind of jumping a bit ahead of me, so let me kind of go back real quick and hit on some of these. Right. We're short. Well, Apple TV let PBS air them. This is about the Peanut specials. Air them, and then you could also stream them to a PC via Apple TV's website for a limited time. Tim also says Jane Fonda is probably full of shite, like most of Hollywood with the climate change BS. Yeah. Jesse says he is not a big fan of A Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, I'm starting to hear that of late, that there are some people that are maybe not as big a fan of that one as others. I've yet to see it, honestly, so I got to do that this time around. Some said it was something about Linus's grandma visiting, and she made him get rid of his blanket, only for him to pull it back out after she left. And I don't remember that one either. But one I do remember is the Peanuts movie where the kids go to France. That's Bon Voyage Charlie Brown. And don't come back. I do remember that. That was a good one.
Yep.
It was mainly live action.
Yeah, the girl in the red truck.
Some coyotes in the desert.
It was just weird. It was really weird. It made me wonder if Spike and this girl were having some kind of, I don't know, it was creepy.
Now, I don't remember that one at all. I don't recall seeing it, and from the sounds of it, I didn't miss much.
No, you didn't. It was odd.
Okay. The last Muppets special Disney made was the Muppets Haunted Mansion special. Yeah, we were talking about this, Bill and I, when we did our review of Haunted Mansion. And this got brought up in the chat as well at that time. And
yeah.
I have not seen that version or the Eddie Murphy version, so I really don't have them to... I really can't compare them. In the chat, Tim brought up the E.T. video game that they dumped into the landfill.
Yeah.
And he says that old game console can take a bullet and still keep working. Probably
True.
Yeah.
It's flawed, though. It's like you get in the pit and you can't go nowhere.
Yeah. There's Forza break-ins, as he calls it, made some money, but after that, the movies kept making less and less. Then they made zero. Yeah. It's not even Kenner anymore. It's Hasbro doing a piss poor job at being Kenner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they bought the Kenner name, and they still slap Kenner on some of their old stuff.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
It's actually kind of sad.
All right, so which throne room? Because was it Jabba's throne room or the Emperor's throne room that you're working on, Troy?
Actually, both. I bought the well, actually there was play sets for both of them. The Emperor came out with that, like window behind him and the throne and whatnot, and I'm going to build the stairway that leads up to him and the place for the two Imperial Guards and whatnot. And the Jabba's throne room, I got the Jabba's throne room. It's not called Jabba's throne room. It's called Bib Fortuna's throne room because it comes under the Book of Boba Fett banner. But I had previously gotten the archway with the frozen Han Solo in it. And those two actually go really well together, but I'm going to build out all of it on a raised platform with the dropping trap door to put the Rancor underneath and everything. So, yeah, I'm kind of crazy that way. I'm going to do all of that.
Tim also says Tongori seems to be secondhand. I'm not buying its factory rejects.
Yeah, I have not agreed with Boss Bounty about it being factory rejects. I think what it actually is he must know someone that works at the factory, and he's getting some stuff that falls off the truck, so to speak. I mean, except for the shipping from Thailand, the prices are really, really good.
Tim says Hasbro doesn't know how to build playsets anymore. They know how to build dioramas, so I have the tentative for hallways, articles listing to playset. You buy multiples. Das Wolfen says I'm not a big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas. As a lot of folks, I think it's overrated. Yeah,
it might be. Yeah,
but this is more of what I'm talking about. It's just, especially this year, I've heard more and more people say that are kind of agreeing with us Wolfen here that it's overrated. Like I said, I never got around to seeing it.
The thing to keep in mind that these things tend to have their niche audience, right? There are kids that grew up with it. They probably were into that kind of goth stuff back then. They really glommed onto it. They have some very fond memories of it. If you don't have that, you can't reconstruct that now, So, and that's true of anything, not just this, You try to get somebody into Star Wars now who didn't grow up with it, it's going to be a hard sell.
Yeah.
Tim asking how much am I going on for? I thought about another half hour, 40 minutes, depending on. So yeah, jump on in with us. You have the link. All right. Jesse says, looking forward for a Chapmay Animal Planet Cobra Temple playsets, especially from Indiana Jones figures. Okay. Not sure I'm reading that right, but okay. And hello, Tim.
Hi.
Hey, Tim.
Sorry that I can't spell that well in chat.
It's okay. Don't
That's
worry
fine.
about it.
Sometimes the typos you make, they look like you might be using speech to text.
No, I'm just.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not that. I don't have like a cell phone or anything like that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And this new webcam now, it makes me look a lot whiter than I actually am. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I think they all do that.
Yeah,
I
you
look
do look
so
a little
white
pale.
now.
Yeah.
If I take my shirt off, then I'm wearing something like bright colored against like my bare chest or some bare part of my body, then I start to get, my skin turns a really weird color. I either get really pale or I get sort of pinkish.
Yeah.
Das Wolfen says, my Christmas movie is Die Hard and It's a Wonderful Life. Hey, Das Wolfen, if you want to jump in, let me know. I'll send you the link.
I've never been able to watch Die Hard, and it seems too depressing to watch for a Christmas movie. But then It's a Wonderful Life seems a little bit depressing too.
Actually, I think, especially given the ending, It's a Wonderful Life is actually very uplifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, I still don't really have a cell phone or a mobile phone. I still use a landline. My mom kept our landline just for me, since she uses her mobile phone mainly to talk to my siblings. But I get a lot of phone solicitations and stuff, so I have caller ID.
Yeah. Thanks, but I'm in for tonight. No worries. That's okay. Another time.
Yeah, my new webcam, it's a full HD. It's 1080p, but it probably doesn't show up as full HD on here because I think on StreamYard you have to have like a paid StreamYard to get it to stream into full HD. At least whenever I've streamed from StreamYard, it'll only let me do it in 720p.
And that was completely over my head. Thank you. No. Yeah, I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, so I'm surprised the stream is even up and running right now. To be honest. Anyway.
Why are you afraid that they're going to censor you now?
Well, I mean, it's when you go into subjects that have gotten other channels knocked down, and granted, I didn't go as hard as they did, but still, and I know that, and I have shows that do well. This does well. The Twin Peaks show is doing well right now. More people are watching the little update thing that I do Thursday nights. But Unscripted is one where the view count is significantly lower. And I'm wondering if that's because of some of the subject matter that I go into. Because that's the one where I go into, dare I say it, I'm maybe a little bit more political. I'm a little bit more opinionated.
A little spicy.
A little spicy, yeah. It's because that's what that show is. It's my given, and it's not an every week thing. I do episodes that, I don't like, Duck Fisney all day long, all through the thing. No, I do go into different subjects on that show, so it's not like one thing every week, but I do see that the viewership is down as opposed to what I do here or a review I might do. And I'm not really doing anything all that much different, but I do, like Troy put it, it's a little spicy sometimes. And, I know I say some things on there that are not going to make certain people very happy, but they're going to have to deal with it because I'm not changing my show.
Yeah.
It's take it or leave it. Sorry, folks, but that's how it is. I've got more people. I've got people in my corner who are saying keep doing what you're doing. So I'm going to go by that metric. And if somebody gets pissed off, then that's too bad. I'm going to call I call things as I see them.
So if you see something, like if you call a spade, it's a spade. That sort of thing.
Yeah. If you're going to hide behind the whole line of I'm on the right side of history, but then you act like, but at the same time you act like you're the biggest racist out there, I'm going to call you on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think just about anybody could say they're on the right side of history these days.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
well,
it,
the danger there is forgetting the fact that you can be on the right side of history today. History may look back on this very, very differently. Look at all the statues you want to tear down. You know, somebody's going to be tearing down your statue. Decades from now.
yeah, I mean, you can't you can't run onto Twitter and start calling people Yahtzee and then at the same time be like pro Hamas.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, tell
And
me how
people
that
are
works.
doing that. That is so funny.
Yeah,
You
they
know?
are.
Yeah, I think Kami Chato. I think he's been calling people out, and they
Yeah.
keep blocking him now. He said he told somebody, I think, on a news station to do their job, and they just blocked him.
Yeah,
Well,
and
he's not wrong.
that's part of what I was talking about earlier. I mean, this whole woke thing is like a cancer now, and it's spread throughout news media and entertainment and social media in some places as well. There are certain platforms where that are highly censored right now.
Yeah, my mom will still watch Hallmark Channel some, but she hates these newer movies they put on there where it'll have gay characters in these movies just for the sake of having gay characters in the movies.
Yeah, that you can't
Well,
do.
that
Because that's not that's not the problem. Our problem is not that there are gay characters. It's just they're being thrown in there just for the sake of saying you have a bunch of them in there. I brought up that movie It's a Wonderful Knife that came out. It's like this Christmas themed horror
a,
movie.
a Wonderful Knife?
It's a Wonderful Knife. Yeah, it's not very good. And one of the things that's wrong with it is the fact that there's like 6, 7 gay characters in it.
That seems pretty unrealistic unless it's
That's
a story
a little unrealistic. Yeah.
unless it's specifically taking place in, a gay community or something,
Yeah. It was just like that's fine. 1 or 2 is fine, but 6 or 7, you're kind of pushing it. And it's also a fact that it's a movie that pretty much gives away its entire plot in the first 20 minutes. That's kind of another thing.
That's terrible writing.
Yeah. And hello to Mermaid Messiah. So it's not,
mermaid.
hello. And, so that's, our problem isn't that there are gay characters in movies or,
Well,
you
that
have
Bros movie was a problem because it was a porn film, from what I heard.
Yeah, probably.
Which one
I don't
was
know.
that?
I didn't bother.
Bros is what it was called. It was supposed to be this gay romantic comedy, and I think it turned out to be film that was part either softcore or hardcore gay porn.
Yeah, I don't know. Never even heard of it.
Well, somebody bitched about it, saying when it didn't get hardly anybody watching it.
Obviously,
there was
it's
a lot
not
of bitching going on.
hardcore because they wouldn't get it into theaters if it was that. But
Yeah, it was.
I just heard it was just basically kind of one note and not funny. It's like most comedies these days.
No, it wasn't funny, and I think it was just an excuse just to show some pornographic material.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I remember when
Go ahead.
what is the agency, the Motion Picture Association, when they
Uh-huh.
created that NC-17 rating. there was a number of films that came out then, kind of looking to exploit the NC-17 rating. They were a little artsy, but not necessarily that good.
I think
remember-
that just replaced the X rating, didn't it?
Yes, because they said that right out, because the porn industry had pretty much, you know, taken over that whole X rating concept. So they were like, it's not really the same thing. You know,
Yeah.
an X-rated film by the Motion Picture Association could be because of, you know, sexual and nudity and whatnot, but it could also be because of graphic violence or something like that.
Yes.
And usually it wasn't, you know, if you got an X rating, you were like, maybe I better back off to an R rating if I want to get, you know, butts in seats. But they decided, it sent the wrong message, so they wanted something else like the NC-17. And I saw a couple of those films, mostly because I was getting into really avant-garde films back then. And like there was, what was it? The Cook, the Thief, His Wife, Her Lover. And yeah, there was some sex in it, but really the problem was there was a main story point based on murder and cannibalism. So I'm like, yeesh, you know?
And Russ Meyer's Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, I think that got an X rating originally, but I think it's mainly just X rated because of the nudity, and there's full frontal nudity, but it goes by really quick, and then there's some graphic violence in it.
It's like a hard R now. But yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, but that NC-17 rating was always kind of weird, you know.
Yeah, with like
I said,
Showgirls.
There's a version of Showgirls that's NC-17, yeah. But like Troy was saying, they tended to be, the movies that got NC-17 tended to be a little bit more arty.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's his name? John Waters did with The Dirty Shame.
Sure. Or all the Zalman King films.
Yeah. You know,
Zalman King. Oh yeah.
Red Shoe Diaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in Galaxy of Terror, wasn't he? In Blue Sunshine.
He is. Yeah.
But he did some 70s exploitation films.
And you know, occasionally you'll get a movie that's NC-17 for violence, but very rarely. Though now, I think they just decided let's not even go there. I don't even remember the last time I'd heard of an NC-17 movie being released.
I think
maybe like the last 10 or so years, maybe.
Eyes Wide Shut was almost NC-17, but then they changed it at the last minute.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for that. Now most films that would otherwise get an NC-17, they have started backing them off to an R rating. And then when they are released on home media, they will add the footage back in and call it unrated, because officially it doesn't have it wasn't submitted for a rating. So that's how they kind of get around it.
Yeah, I think the original Dawn of the Dead had its rating surrendered. And then one other one had the rating surrendered. I think that Italian slasher movie from 1981, Nightmare, also known as Nightmares and a Damaged Brain, I think that had its rating surrendered. But I think both of those just had the rating surrendered just because they were so violent. I don't think it was because of sex.
There was a movie that I saw like a couple of minutes out of, and I mostly know it through the trailer. There was a horror movie called Murder Set Pieces,
Huh.
and that was the first one that got the NC-17 strictly for the violence. And
Yeah.
it's just some photographer.
I have
who's
that
kind
one,
of,
by the way.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's just
I got
based on.
the cleaner version of it. There is a more
Yeah.
unrated version you can get of it though.
Yeah, it gets pretty gruesome from what I understand.
It's not that bad. At least the version I have is not that bad. You'd be able to sit through it no problem.
But I think the thing with me, because you got to understand, back in the day, when I was in my 20s, 30s, whatever, hit me with your best shot, Come at me with your best violence, as they say in Hamlet. But now it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older. I don't need to go through the blood and guts routine so much anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think like with Dario Argento's Suspiria, that seems like a pretty tame movie, but I've probably mainly just seen the R-rated cut of it. I think
a lot
R
of
and unrated.
I think a lot of films that you've seen the R-rated version of, and there's some other version out there, unrated, X-rated, NC-17, whatever. I think if you saw the other version, you'd probably be maybe even a little surprised by what it was that put it over. Like just a little bit more blood or just one little more scene of violence. Sometimes it's something so innocuous it's silly.
Yeah, like Jaws, Steven Spielberg got away with rated PG, but he had to put it in a disclaimer below that saying maybe too intense for younger children.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaws would be PG-13 now.
There was one scene he refused to have in the film. There was a more violent version of that scene where that guy gets his leg bitten off and he gets eaten. That was originally a little bit more gory.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's shown they show that footage during the making of documentary, but Spielberg said he refused to have that in the movie because he thought it was too bloody and too gory. So he had that scene toned down. He just shows a leg getting bitten off and sinking to the bottom of the pond. And then the guy getting pulled under. It originally had him inside the shark's mouth, getting eaten, and then just pushing the kid out of the way from getting eaten by the shark, and then he goes under water, all getting gobbled up by the shark.
And good night, Das Wolfen.
Yep.
Yeah, and that actor who gets eaten in the pond there, he had like a mini career of getting killed in Spielberg movies because he dies in the Goonies as well. He's the guy in the closet has been shot.
Okay.
It's the same guy.
And this isn't the Twilight Zone. This isn't the Twilight Zone thing I'm gonna bring up, but I found out there was another movie where an actor actually got killed in a helicopter during filming. That it was John Saxon was one of the actors in it, called Hands of Steel. It's also called Atomic Cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was John Saxon, and one of the other actors was supposed to be in this helicopter, but SAG said no. So there was another person in the helicopter. This one Italian actor. I don't think he was flying the helicopter, but he ended up Claudio Casanelli. he had to be the passenger in this helicopter, I think, with someone else trying to fly this helicopter that couldn't do it right, and it crashed, killing both these people.
Man.
And it could have almost been John Saxon, and I think Luigi Montefiore, also known in the U.S. as George Eastman. I think he was another person saved by SAG from getting killed in that helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, these, these accidents, they will happen. There was a stunt woman on the last Resident Evil movie who got killed during a stunt. So yeah, these sorts of things really, they do tend from time to time to happen. You just really don't know what to say to that, but
Yeah.
you got to be, sometimes people do literally do die for our entertainment.
Yeah, well, I think it's what's called guerrilla filmmaking, where they film something without a permit.
Yeah, that's where they can really get hung up, or you get like the Brandon Lee situation where he basically gets killed with a blank round,
Yeah.
because it had the wadding stuck in there in the barrel, and when they fired the blank round, the wadding came out, and that's what got him.
I think that happened with that John
Eric Hexum.
Yeah. When on Cover Up, behind the scenes, he was just playing around with a gun full of blanks, and he just pointed it at his head, not knowing that if you point it at your head, it can be dangerous.
Yep.
Well,
that's exactly right.
And then I remember Tom Midnight's Edge. He was mentioning one time during Midnight's Edge After Dark. It was right after that shooting on that set that involved
Rust. Yeah.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin. Tom brought up this other movie where a Midnight Rider, they were trying to film a dream sequence in this movie, and they had some sort of prop lady trying to put a bed mattress onto a train track, and a train went running down. She got killed.
I heard.
Yeah, that was
I heard that.
It was supposed to be like a Greg Allman biopic or something that they were.
Yeah, they were trying to film a dream sequence. I think
the director I think ended up doing some time for that.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a movie about all the Altman brothers, the Altman Brothers band.
They have that song, Midnight.
Yeah, there's that song, Midnight Rider.
Yeah.
Anyway, when the Rust shooting happened, this was back when Matt and I were still doing Saturday Serial.
Yeah.
But he got married, didn't he?
He did. And we made the conscious decision when that story first came out to not cover it, because we at that point we didn't know what had happened yet or who did what.
Right.
It's just that, all right, there had been a shooting that had happened on the set. It was obviously this kind of, Brandon Lee type situation all over again. So, we made the decision not to talk about it at first until more facts had come to light. And then once it did, that's when we felt that it was okay, we could talk about it, because we've both been on film sets. Matt did special effects on a film set, so he knew all about safety.
Right.
And kind of chain of custody when it comes to firearms on sets or knives on sets or anything that could be potentially dangerous. And good night, Jesse.
Yeah, good night, Jesse.
So it's like
Hey, Jesse.
it's like Matt became the subject matter expert, as it were, on that, because he'd been around that sort of thing, and he was basically the one who first said it, that obviously there was some kind of gross negligence, whether if it was intentional or not. I don't think there was anything intentional. I don't think Alec Baldwin went to the set that day thinking, hey, why don't I just shoot the camera woman for shits and giggles? No. I don't think he intended to actually shoot anybody, but at the same time, you had an armorer who was clearly incompetent.
Yeah, I think the armorer got charged for negligence.
Well,
you had
one thing I will say about that whole situation was there was a great deal of irony in the fact that it happened to him, because it was almost a year after he had posted on social media to some cop, how does it feel to accidentally shoot somebody? You murdered this person, blah, 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 blah. I went back to that post and I said, you can answer that question now, Alec.
Yeah, he's a dick, and so's his brothers. I've seen what they post. I have no problem like talking smack back at them on Twitter. No problem at all, and I do it too. Trust me, I do.
I mean, this is what I just said. There is not apples and oranges. It's literally, you did exactly, and now you got your own words coming right back at you, pal. People in glass houses should not be shooting at people. Kind of mixing my metaphors there.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that the shooting itself was intentional. But the point is it's gross negligence. You had live ammo getting mixed in with the blank ammo. You got an armorer who was there because her daddy had been doing it for 40 years. Total nepotism. Yeah. You have the second AD messing around with the gun, and it's not his job to be handling the weapons. So you got to look at him for see what he was up to. And it was just this. It was almost as if it wasn't going to be Alec Baldwin, it was going to be somebody else on that set who ended up either getting shot or firing the shot. That was like literal Russian roulette on that set. Honestly, based on what I've been hearing was going on, I'm surprised more people didn't get hurt or killed.
Yeah, true.
And they're going on with this movie. They're going to finish it. And they're going to try and release this thing in the theaters.
They have no choice. They have to.
Yeah.
So it's turned into like a situation with like Ezra Miller where they have to.
Yeah.
They're too far into it, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
and this was an independent production that he mostly financed. I'm guessing if he doesn't go through with it, it bankrupts him.
Mm.
Especially with all that he's spending right now on the lawsuits.
Mhm.
And part of the decision was the gal that got shot. Her husband is now a producer on the show. That's part of the recompense. So yeah, it has to happen.
Mm.
So yeah, that's it's a tragic situation all the way around. But yeah, I find it very difficult to feel sorry for him though. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Well, I just got sick of all the crap with like Saturday Night Live. I think they just went overboard with making fun of Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Well,
But
when
you know,
when Saturday Night Live was actually funny, you know, they'd go after everybody. And
Yeah,
when
they would, but they
when they became the type that only go after one side, now it's not funny. Now it's just assholery.
yes.
Mhm.
It's jackass on sketches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
you know, and thinking back on it, now I'm always so back and forth on these things nowadays. Is when it got to the Barbie movie, and I did see it because someone sent me the link to it, and that's how I ended up watching it online. And
I started to watch it because somebody started to show me a copy of it, and I couldn't. There was no way I was going to watch all of it. I thought that movie just looked too stupid, and
well, I got all the way through it. I just, looking back on it, I think it's just exactly that. It's a Saturday Night Live skit for 2 hours, and I'm like, it's not my thing, and the thing there, and there are actually things that I do like about it. I like the production and the costume design. The music's okay. The leads are fine. I don't really have any problem with any of the actors in it. It was the messaging behind it, or at least the way I perceived the messaging to be. On the other hand, it was another one of those cases of the movie. Well, we didn't make the movie for you. They didn't say that, but that's the one time where I would go, you know what, you're right. I'm not the target audience for this,
I would argue, however, that
yeah,
you should never limit yourself that way, because you never know who may decide they are interested. And secondly, who is your target audience that the person you're alienating might not want to be going to the movie with your target audience? A husband, a father, right? Maybe they're the ones paying for the ticket. That's always something to keep in mind in business. I mean, if we're still in business, if we still want to make money, that is.
Oh, they're not in business.
Yeah, exactly.
The line reminded me was that line in Get Shorty. It's in the movie and it's in the book as well. He says, "If I ran my business like Hollywood runs theirs, I would be out of business." And that was a book from the 80s and a movie from the 90s. And they were said even then. You know, and that movie is a funny look at how, you know, Hollywood works. But at the same time, there was some pretty heavy stuff between lines in that movie. You know?
Yeah.
Where they were really trying to say something about, you know, the state of Hollywood at the time. Oh, and you know, he is a guy who's a gangster who winds up becoming a movie producer. And how, you know, people who are working in Hollywood are almost worse than the gangsters are. You know, a lot of ways. So that was the kind of a funny thing to me. You know, it just, I look at Hollywood now and I go, you know what? The stars are not shining. The shine is off, you know.
That's for darn sure.
You know, and I don't mean to keep going back to this, but we did a whole show on it. You know, like Mulholland Drive is a really good movie about the state. That was kind of David Lynch's sort of screw you to mainstream Hollywood, I think.
Yeah.
And the way that, you know, he got treated during his career. You know, and there's a lot of stuff in that you didn't pick up on at the time necessarily, but you see that movie now and you go, oh, yeah, you want to talk about Knives Out. Holy shit. You know, but again, that may just be my perception of the movie, but I'm seeing a lot of how I see present day Hollywood. I look back at Mulholland Drive and I go, man, David Lynch just nailed it. But man, I don't. That's, you know, part of why I have the channel. You know, is just point people in the direction of stuff that's good. You know, I'm going to be doing a couple of reviews over the next couple of days, which will be me pointing people in the right direction of something that's good, because I actually saw 2 good movies this weekend, you know, for the first time in a while. You know, it's usually a good one and a dud, or I got to wait a couple of weeks, and then it's just how it is. Everything's just been so scattershot. But yeah, I mean, there's good stuff out there. You just got to go and seek it out. I'm getting rambly here, gentlemen. Help me.
Sorry.
Well, I was just thinking I'm fading pretty fast here.
I think it's about time to go ahead and wrap it up. I think we've gotten to a sufficient length here. All righty. All right, chat. You guys were great tonight. I want to thank everybody. Jesse, Das Wolfen, Mermaid Messiah, JPRPH1. Let me scroll. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Connie Cleary was with us. Lady Mist, who I think was probably lurking.
Yeah, it looks like she might still be in the chat.
Always good to see Lady Mist. All right, so last words before we close it out, Tim.
Oh, so you want me to promote my YouTube channel?
Please do.
Yeah, I've got a YouTube channel. It's just under my name, Tim Hayes, and So far, all I've been really been doing with it is been doing a chill stream live stream on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UK time, because I usually have a few people from the UK joining me. We just talk about toys, if we've got any new toys, physical media, just about anything.
Right on. Bill.
But
Cool.
I've got a few pre-recorded videos in the works, but it's just a matter of time having the time to film and someone not being in the living room at the same time as me.
All right. Bill. Anything
Yep.
coming up?
Gonna bring back Kung Fu Fridays
Oh,
on
nice.
Friday
Cool.
with the Kung Fu feature.
Do you have a time picked out or to be determined, or what are you going to do?
I haven't got a time picked out yet. I'm gonna work that out yet.
Right on. All right, so folks, Jedi Bill's Kung Fu Theater will be returning, so stay tuned to his channel for showtimes.
Yep.
Troy, what do you have coming up?
Well, I think on Tuesday I might be watching some Twin Peaks with
Indeed, we are.
with this guy over here. Yeah, Sparkwood 21 on your channel. On Tuesday, we'll be watching the 4th episode of Twin Peaks, The One-Armed Man, and doing a deep dive on that.
I keep thinking of The Fugitive every time you mention One-Armed Man.
We will definitely draw that comparison when we talk about it. I think that's intentional.
It figures in, yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, you were mentioning earlier in the stream that was a fairly popular stream, so I'm glad. I'm glad people are enjoying that. What they may not enjoy so much, at least this week on Last Call, that's Friday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Since we did the annual Star Wars holiday special a little bit early this year, 1 week, so as to accommodate Michael French of Retro Blasting, I still want to honor the 45th anniversary of the holiday special. So what I thought I might do is kind of do a kind of an analysis, kind of an introduction for people on this whole concept of the 1970s variety show. If you didn't grow up with those kinds of things, you really don't even have a point of reference. So yes, the Star Wars Holiday Special was weird and it wasn't necessarily that good, but it wasn't as weird as you might have thought back in the 70s. So by way of comparison, we're going to take a look at an episode of the Donnie and Marie Show. That's only about 45 minutes or so. The one where they did their homage to Star Wars. And you might get a kick out of it, but yeah, I'm not saying it's good, but I think it's culturally relevant. So that's what I got coming up on Friday.
All right, right on. All right, as Troy said, we have Sparkwood live from Sparkwood 21 here on the channel. That's Tuesdays at 8:30. I'm going to have my weekend update show Thursday, probably at around 11:30 or 11:45, to let everybody know what I'm going to be doing this next weekend. I have a couple of reviews coming out. Hopefully tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Tuesday before the show. Stay tuned for the times. All right. Well, I think that's gonna about wrap it up. I want to once again thank everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat, Anybody who was lurking in the background, that's totally fine. You don't have to engage with the chat as long as you enjoy the show. Hit the thumbs up, share out the stream. Please subscribe to these gentlemen if you have not yet done so. And if you are new to my channel and you like what you see, please subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. This is a weekly show, so if you enjoy it, please come back. All right.
Indeed.
And that was The Other Side of Midnight. And I'm going to close this out in my usual fashion. Good night. Take care. Stay strong, because this is how we win.